What's going on, everybody? This is the second episode of Clapper to Dapper. Still working on this beast here. Already got started on the work today, or tonight. We are removing the sway bar to replace the bushings, and then we're also going to replace the end links. Now that I think about it, I also need to do the front lower control arms. I was going to try and hold off on those, but while the sway bar is already off, might as well get that off too and replace those bushings. So we're gonna get started on that tonight. Boom. All right, so here we have our end links. They did come from CarQuest, so we'll try them out. They were cheap. I might end up replacing them depending on how long they last. And then we have our sway bar bushings here from Nolathane. All right, we're under the car. Here's our sway bar here. I already started unbolting stuff, but the end link slips right in here. So mounts up top there, bottom here. This one definitely seems a little worn out. Like there's some play in it. Not as bad as I was thinking it would be, but that's removed. And then these I gotta pull out. These are a pain in the butt to get to. I'll probably have to replace that nut. But this is a 12, or these are both 12 millimeter. This is 12 millimeter. This one up top's 14. I would definitely soak these with like a PB blaster before. All I had was WD-40, which isn't really the best penetrant, but we're working with it. And then now I gotta come over here and do this other side, which is gonna be trickier. All right, so here's the comparison of the sway bar end link bushings. So here, there's quite a bit of play in here. You can see the slop. They're still probably could have got another year or so out of them. That one's pretty mushy actually. But new ones are way tighter. We'll see how they are. Did get them when CarQuest was going out of business, so it was like $6 for these, compared to paying like 100. So we'll see how they hold up. All right, I just took the bolts and I threw them in this vinegar and water mix, and we're gonna see. It's like an industrial stuff, and you can see it's really putting in the work on these. So I don't think you can leave these overnight. Kind of afraid to. Might actually eat the metal alive. So we'll probably leave it for like 15-30 and then come back and check on it. All right, it is the next day. It was too cold last night, so I just called it. In order to get these bushings out, we had to loosen the subframe. 3, 4, 5, so 5, so 10 bolts to loosen up. Just loosen it enough for this guy to slide out. And then we're gonna pry these bushings off and try and slip on the next ones. And then we gotta clean up these. All right, now that the bushings are out of the car, I was looking, and yeah, this one here, it's all cracked up. So it's a good thing we're replacing those. They're pretty hard too. I'm assuming these were rubber, but yeah, look at those cracks. All right, I moved the car to somebody's shop so that we're nice and warm. I removed the sway bar mounts as you saw in the last clip, and there was rust and stuff built up underneath there. So I went in with a wire brush, cleaned it, got rid of the rust, but now it's just bare metal. So we have to go in and spray paint, clean it up. So we gotta be in a warm shop for about 48 hours, and we'll bust some stuff out in here and be a little nicer.
All right, voiceover. This is the part where the sway bar goes on, mounts to. These are clean bolts as well. Those were in the vinegar mix. They are super clean. Here I'm showing you these greasy control arms. We are going to pull them out right now. I think I'm just showing you that front bolt needs to come out, and it's a pain in the butt. So you have to drop the subframe. Here, I'm just tapping on stuff for no reason. As you can see, I'm just looking at the rusty crap under the car. That's where the subframe mounted to. Then I'm showing where the ball joint goes to. Super rusty, super gross. All right, here's the control arms out. They are disgusting. I'm going to pull them apart and clean them. Some nice coffee. Anyways, socket came loose, busted my forehead. Here is the current brake system. I'm showing you that we're replacing these brake lines with stainless steel brake lines. That was the rear, this is the front. Look at how gross that is. Here they are, the good rich stainless steel brake lines. More gross under the car with a complete product with them in. These guys are fantastic. They actually help with braking. Here's another clip because, you know, gotta have more than one. Alright, here is these guys. These were crusty, dusty, needing replaced, musty fast, dude. So they have bushings and grease inside. That's why there's grease all over, is because they were cracked. Here's the new ones. These look fantastic. They're going to help improve the handling of the car. The reason I was replacing these in the first place is I have had an issue where when I brake hard, the car feels like it's wobbling, and I checked the brakes. I checked everything I could. All the suspension components felt fine, and I finally found that it was these bushings here were worn out, so anytime you go to brake, it's basically fighting the road and the bushing and felt like crap. So in order to press that metal shell out, we modified this guy because we had no sockets that were long enough. Here's a random clip because I'm an idiot on this stuff. And then boom, there's the final product after painting that surface. And then we're going to go ahead and reassemble with the kit. There's the things polished up, getting all that nasty grease off of them. They look fantastic. Here is everything assembled together. It looks nice, fresh hardware, new bushings in. Another clip, of course, because you can't just have one. Here I'm showing you that the ball joints are needing replaced as well. They're greasy, gross, leaking.
Alright, here we got this control arm in. Not all the way, it's just loose for the night. But in order to get this in, slide this up in here close first, and then go to your rear bolts back here and get those up tight, not super tight, enough to where you can move this bracket still, but enough to where it'll hold it somewhat in place. Then you throw this bolt in, get that aligned, come down here. Okay, you put your lower ball joint in next. Make sure to grease the top of it, but not the sides when you go to put it in. And then next would be to throw on this guy here. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put your wheel back on and somehow jack this up. And then that's when you go and torque everything. And there's a certain order that I'll point out here. First, torque your ball joint. That doesn't matter if it's up or down. Next, you're gonna do your end link, and then it's gonna be this front bolt here, which goes to your subframe. And then the last one you're gonna do is this back one here. And then you're gonna wanna tighten the bolt side, or the nut on the back side here. Right there. Okay, so your ball joint gets torqued to 37 foot-pounds, depending on if this is a wagon or a sedan. The sedan, this bottom gets torqued to 33 foot-pounds, whereas the wagon, it gets torqued to 22. Okay, and then next, this front bolt here gets torqued to 74 foot-pounds. And these rear two get torqued to 184. And then this rear bolt here gets, oh, where is it? Can't find it. There it is. Gets torqued to 129 foot-pounds.